Whenever I used to go to the strategy classes, the next moment I will feel this is what will make me happy. And then I go to a marketing class, and then the prof will blow your mind, and you'll be like, okay, this is what will make me happy. It's more about the attitude of finding happiness in any place rather than looking for that one happy place.
All right, in today's episode, we have Vinod. Vinod is our stellar campus hire from IIM Bangalore. He's done a really great job in his career here in the last 3 years. He joined ABInBev in operations in 2018, was our first campus hire, and has set up a lot of internal processes, has worked directly with me and with the global VP of operations, and has a very accelerated career and became this year a senior manager in a very short span of time, in 3 years' time. So Vinod is also a mentor to a lot of the newer batches of our campus hires, and for sure has a lot to share. So welcome, Vinod.
Thank you, sir. Very happy and humble to be here.
All right. So let's start with your background. So I think you're an engineer by training, right, or by formation, and I think you even used to work as an engineer.
Yeah, so I became an engineer to realize that I was not an engineer. Typical Indian.
What does that mean?
So to just like take it back, right? Like my childhood and everything happened in a small town called Madurai in the south of Tamil Nadu. And when I was a kid, we were not exposed to a lot of information. Same thing with my parents as well. So as a kid, I didn't even know there are colleges like NITs and IITs till my final year of the school.
No.
So a lot of other people do the preparations and stuff, but I didn't even know such colleges exist. And as a kid, I was always interested in chemistry. I used to like pick up some baking soda here and there, play around it. So always interested in that and wanted to do science. In fact, I got into a good university where I got an MS integrated course for science. But engineering, I wrote the AIEEE. It also happened, and I got an admission to NIT Trichy. And my parents said that like maybe engineering is good for you, right?
No.
It was a lot of people doing the engineering stuff, and even I didn't have the information. And parents, they always think good for you, so I thought like, okay, let me go and do this engineering. 4 good years, it was amazing in NIT Trichy. I learned a lot. I got a lot of friends. A lot of my friends right now, some good friends are from that campus. And in the final year, I was fortunate again to get placed in a core company. A core company is something an engineer getting placed for an engineering job. That doesn't happen often. So
No.
that was kind of a special situation, and I felt proud about it. And then joined the company. It was Murugappa Group. The group was amazing. My first job over there, the role was in Andhra Pradesh. I need to like travel from my home state to a neighboring state. Never done that before. Went there, but once I went into that role, I realized the personality, my personality, and that role didn't like really match. So the engineering job, I was an assistant engineer in a fertilizer plant where I get up, go to the office. There will be specific set of instructions, which is the SOP. I follow that. I don't deviate anything. No experimentation, nothing. Go there, do that, see some monitors, come back. That's the work. So even if I try to like take in some additional projects and drive it, there was no scope for that. So that's when I realized, okay, this is not something which matches with my personality, and I understood that engineering is not the kind of work I wanted to do.
Yeah. All right. So and then you decided to go for an MBA.
Yeah, it was more of a forced decision, I would say, right? Like the company found out that I was disengaged, being an engineer, and they were kind enough. They put me in procurement, which is like in another city, but still I took it because I didn't really enjoy the engineering job. Took this procurement job, went there. It was amazing. The reason being too many variables. It was chaotic. So that's what I like. The process was completely broken. I need to deal with a lot of people. Nothing was fixed. I will need to put everything in, train a few other people as well, put in some automation so that we reduce our manual work, put in some processes wherein like we made the negotiations much more improved, wherein like we brought in a lot of savings and stuff. This happened for close to 1.5 years. And then it struck me, okay, what next? Right? Like after you do it for quite some time, you start thinking, okay, what next? And what happened again, information wise, I was pretty standard. I didn't have enough information, I didn't have proper contacts. At least in India, I feel the career counseling again is not like very well developed. We didn't have that kind of infra as well. So I started looking to my peers, what exactly they are doing, how exactly we can emulate them and stuff. So a lot of my friends did MS in their as a postgraduate in their respective streams in engineering. In fact, I also published a paper on artificial intelligence, which got like published, just to be on a safer side that if in the future I want to go for an MS, I need to have some background, right? So I did that as well. But a lot of other friends also focused towards CAT and going into MBA. Since I like procurement and also a lot of other peers within the company who joined with me were also preparing for CAT, I thought, okay, let me just give it a try. And again, lucky first attempt cleared and got IIM Bangalore. That's how it was more of a herd mentality.
Ah,
Took the peer groups consents and then like went into it.
yeah, so not really like a conscious choice of this is what I want to do in my career. Looking around, seeing that some people go to MBA, and I said, okay, let me try that as well.
Exactly.
All right. So how did you get, or maybe not, right? But how did you get out of that mentality, or do you see your career still today? You know, comparing yourself to other people, or do you have a different view by now?
No, I think have changed a lot. The reason being the 2 years in MBA was really eye-opening. So the first thing, I met a lot of people, which opened up a lot of new avenues. It's kind of opening, right? Like people from all over the country come there into one campus who also has some experience in different domains. Talking with these people like opened up a lot of new avenues. I got to know that there are other jobs which exist beyond this engineering, procurement, and stuff. And
Yeah, a lot
beyond that, I
of non-engineers probably in MBA as
yeah, a
well.
lot of non-engineers as well. Yes, never knew such CAs and other stuff even existed before, right? Like so, now I got to know all these things, but the two important things that really changed was the collective internship experience and a course called PVGCO. So this internship experience, it's part of our MBA program, wherein like mid-year we are sent to some companies to work for. I worked in ABI for 2 months over there, understanding the culture and stuff. But it was more about the discussions I had with the other people. Like they worked in different companies, what projects they were working on, what exactly the industry is working on, how is the value of the company, what exactly they focus on. So using those collective internship experiences, I had created some kind of a mental model saying that, okay, this industry performs like this. And this is the personality you will need to have to perform in that sphere. So I had those mental models, but again, it was too many in number. To narrow it down is what happened in my PVGCO course. So PVGCO is personal values, growth and career options. It's taken by Professor Ramya Ranganathan. So she gave a very simple thing, right? Like there are 7 billion people in this world and everyone is unique. You have different parents, you grow in different environments. The way you are conditioned is different, means that whatever personal values you have come from this environment. Now, when you are looking at these individuals, they are different, but everyone seeks only one thing, which is happiness in life.
Yeah.
That is the sole purpose and that is the sole goal every human being is like looking forward to. Now that brought in a lot of introspection into me. Have I been doing something wrong? What am I looking into my future and stuff? When I looked at some really like astounding professionals, right? Like for example, Sachin Tendulkar, he likes playing cricket makes him happy, so that's why he's playing that. Elon Musk, he likes solving problems, so the entire of boring company was started just because he was unhappy on road, right? So people do things to make themselves happy. Just one point of contention over there, I also realized that while seeking your happiness, you should not be intrusive, not entering into other spheres, because you are coexisting. We will need to look from that angle as well, right?
What
So
does that
that,
mean? Sorry, I'm a bit lost on that. What do you mean there? Not being intrusive when looking for happiness.
so let's say that like happiness for me is like plucking an ice cream from a kid. Now that is being intrusive enough. I'm going into other one's sphere, taking the ice cream for
Okay.
me to make myself happy. So that is something which
Okay.
we will need to be aware of, rather than like being intrusive. Focus on your happiness where everyone can coexist in their spheres, finding their own happiness. I think that's
No.
the place where I broke the chain, started looking inwards, trying to do things which made me happy rather than looking outside.
So basically, getting out of the kind of peer pressure, not necessarily looking at what your parents would expect or your family or where you are versus your peers, but really reflecting, okay, what motivates me, what am I passionate about?
Exactly, exactly. For
Yeah.
example, I can just talk a bit more about my MBA schools as well, right? So there, whenever I used to go to the strategy classes, the next moment I will feel, okay, I want to become this strategy consultant. This is what will make me happy. And then I go to a marketing class, and then the prof will blow your mind, and you'll be like, okay, this is marketing and this seems so interesting, maybe like this is what will make me happy. So looking for these small pockets of happiness here and there, but then like finding the right route, I think that's what like really put me on path to figure out what exactly I want to do and stuff.
Yeah, it's a great example because I hear a lot of people who think that marketing is the role that will make them super happy, or consultant, right? I think those are the two
Yes, sort
most
out.
yeah, sought out roles here in India. After studying engineering, you need to become a marketeer or you need to become a consultant, right?
Yep.
But I want to challenge that a little bit though, because it looks like this marketing role is like amazing and you're going to be happy the whole day through. The same with whatever, being a CEO or being a director. It looks like these jobs are just 100%, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day happiness. But there I kind of disagree, right? Because I think, at least based upon my experience, I did a lot of different types of roles. But I think in every role that you do, how beautiful it might look from the outside, there's always certain aspects to that role that you won't like, right? That you will not really prefer to do. Maybe there's a piece of administration that you really don't like, but you still need to do it, right? Or maybe there is some data analysis and number crunching that you need to do to take the right decision, but you might not like it, and you might want to be more creative, right? So, have you experienced that as well when you started looking and found a role that you really liked? That there are still certain aspects of that role, that might not be that sexy or might not make you happy.
Totally, sir. So it's more about the attitude of finding happiness in any place rather than looking for that one happy place, right? Like, so my first role in ABI for that matter, the PPM role, it is kind of the right hand for the global director, looking out the entire operations, managing the budgets and everything. But it involved a lot of monotonous work. For me, like I like the chaotic environment, but monotony is something which is not I usually prefer. It involved a lot of deck making, setting up meetings, getting the things aligned and stuff. But still, I feel that like there should be some effort from our side to really seek out for those things which will make us happy. When I was there in that role, I just like went out after doing this job, maybe a bit more effort on standardizing so that I get some more time to focus on some other things. Went to the towers, understand how exactly they are performing. My happy place is technology and data, how exactly I can impose this on these stars, how exactly I can be useful in those angles. So this was fruitful for me as well. Like for example, I was working with the tower how to improve the screening process for our recruitment using AGI technologies, or on the finance side looking into blockchain, how exactly we can put it, which was fruitful. The company rewarded me. They sent me to work with a startup in California to figure out if it will really come out. Those were some amazing times, happy times, right? Like unless otherwise
Yeah,
like I wouldn't have put those efforts, this wouldn't have come in my way. I would have been stuck there
yeah.
doing the routine jobs and stuff. So I think it's more to do with the attitude as such, wherein like we seek out, yes, this might not be the happiest place, but let me look for it, figure out how exactly I can be happy in this particular place. That
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. I always believe that you need to shape your role, right? There are certain things that are in the job description, like you mentioned in the PPM role, right? I think the great benefit of this type of role is that you work directly with all the leaders in our GCC. But a big part of the role is pretty routine, right? As you said, it's preparing meetings, sending the meeting minutes, you know, creating the decks, the PowerPoint decks, etc. But I think, and what I've seen in that role, because every year we put a different campus hire in that role, and what is amazing to see is that every campus hire is shaping that role in a very different way, right? You could go into the role, like you said, and say, oh man, I just need to create decks, I need to do meeting minutes, this is boring, this is not something for a campus hire. But the best part of the role is that, and this is with every role, I think you can shape it, right? And focus on certain things that you might be more interested in or that you are very strong in, and bring that to the role, right? But I love this topic of happiness. It's something that I've read quite a lot about in the last years. By the way, there's a lot of research about this topic nowadays. If you kind of Google happiness books, there's like a whole list of business books about happiness, right? Not philosophical books even, but really business books. And one of the great books that I came across is written by Srikumar Rao. Not sure if you ever, yeah, no, I read this book even before I came to India, by the way. So it's probably 3-4 years ago I read the book. Very, very interesting book where he talks about happiness. It's called Happiness at Work. But it doesn't really, it's not about happiness at work as being in the office. It's more as how do you make happiness work or something like this. But anyway, I think it's a great book. And what he basically says, or one of the key premises in his book, is that as human beings, what we tend to do in our daily lives is that we label everything. Right? So as we go through a day, we label everything. So imagine that I arrive in the office in the morning, I go grab a coffee, and I will label if it's a good coffee or a bad coffee. First thing I'll do is, oh man, this coffee is bad. No, oh man, this coffee is really nice today. I will go to my computer, start up the computer. I'll say, oh man, the computer is being very slow today, right? It's very bad. Or you will label it good. Oh, look, everything is ready to go. You will meet a colleague, you'll label the colleague. You'll say, man, this is a great colleague that I had. It's like, man, this is not so well-performing colleague. So we tend to label everything that we do. And so what he says is that if you're conscious that you're doing this labeling the whole day through, you will notice that you make yourself happy or unhappy. So the more that you realize that you're labeling a lot of things negatively, you're creating your own unhappiness, right? And so when one of the videos that I saw, this reminded me of a video that I saw literally 20 years ago, and it's still available today on YouTube. It's called Fish ! If you Google it, you need to look for fish and service mindset or something like this. It's a great video that demonstrates the same thing. Yeah? And that basically shows a group a group of people, three, four people who are selling fish. Right? They have a stall where they sell fish somewhere on the supermarket, and there's a lot of other stalls who sell fish and vegetables and whatever. And the only thing that is different here with this stall is it attracts a massive amount of customers. It's like super successful. And it's not because they're cheaper or because they have fresher fish or something like that. It's just because of the attitude, the way that they perform their job, right? And the job that they're doing, man, is very basic, right? They take a fish, they need to weigh it, they need to wrap it and give it to the customer. And they do this the whole day through, right? So you could label this easily as, man, this is a boring job. It's a bad job. It's routine. It's very, very smelly, by the way, if you smell fish the whole day. So they typically would label all of this as bad. But what they do, and unconsciously probably, is they make it an amazing experience. You should really watch the video. These people are there.
Welcome to Seattle!
At Pike Place Fish Market, you'll see lots of flying fish.
So these people are there, the three of them, they're picking up the fish. They're making jokes with the customers. They throw the fish to the other guy. He then takes it. He cuts it in some kind of entertaining way. They wrap it in a very different way. And, they interact and they enjoy their job, right? So I think that is also something that we as people need to realize, that on the one hand, we tend to label all the time. And if you're aware of it, okay, you can kind of change your perception. And one thing that we do is we label our job and the tasks that we're doing all day, right? Is that something that you recognize? Because I see you're nodding when I gave the example of copy, but is it something that you recognize, that you also see that when you go through your job, that you say, oh man, this I like in my job, this I don't like in my job?
Yeah, that obviously comes, right, sir. So you also make
Uh,
sure the team understands the entire other ones who they are working with, empathize with them, understand who what exactly is driving them. So that is one thing which I feel which I want to continue doing and which has been successful. Second thing, I want the team also to empathize with the other managers, the leaders, basically. A lot of times, the reverse does not happen. Always, we want our managers to be like really perfect, be empathetic, be understanding, give us work that we are comfortable with and stuff. But the reverse, to understand the manager, why exactly he or she is saying that, why should we even do this, that never happens. I think that is something which I feel I will need to start doing, especially asking my team to do it rather than only me doing it, right? Like trying to asking them to empathize with me or the senior leaders, understand why these things are happening, which will be more of a symbiotic relationship wherein like we can help each other in this entire process and grow accordingly. So these are like two aspects. One, empathizing with the team, which I have started doing, which I expect the other leaders also to do. The second one is asking the team to empathize with you. As a leader, how exactly do you think you will react in these situations?
yeah. All right. Nice. Very nice, man. So if I basically summarize our conversation here into what, maybe two things that you wish your boss told you that at the beginning of your career. I think one key takeaway is that look for a type of role that makes you happy. Right? Don't just look at your peers. Don't be guided by the peer pressure or herd type of behavior. Look at what makes you happy and really focus on that and be really good at it. And second, which I like here, is what you just mentioned, is empathize also with your boss. Right? Don't just complain about your boss, but try to understand his or her point of view, because that will give you more context
Yep.
and probably will make you happier as well in your job, right? Is that a good summary?
Yep. Perfect.
All right, great, Vinod. Thanks to join us here on this podcast. Some great learnings, and I wish you all the best in your career.
Thank you, Serge.
Thank you for listening to us. We'll meet again soon with more interesting stories and insights that will make you think, I wish my boss told me that. Cheers.